On the final day of February, Jay Wright and Villanova have their sights set on a big march. But Butler has left them feeling blue in 3 of their last 4 trips to Hinkle. On the road to the Final Four, it's game 1 of a triple-header on CBS today. 8th-ranked Villanova looks to move a step closer to another Big East title as they visit Butler. And hi, everyone. Along with former Villanova head coach Steve Lapis, I'm Andrew Catalan. We're 12 hours away from March, and Villanova is building momentum. How dangerous are the Wildcats as we get set to flip the calendar?
Well, they're an extremely dangerous team, and they are still alive for a 1 seed. If they're to run the if they can run the table and somebody slip up, they can still slide in there as a 1 seed. But today, this Butler team, very tough for them, especially at Hinkle Fieldhouse, and they're coming off a great defensive effort against Seton Hall the other day. This should be a good one.
Time now for our fast analysis. It's presented by AT&T 5G.
Well, everybody talks a lot about Villanova making threes, which they do. They make 10 a game, but that great spacing allows all of their guys to play as post players. There's Colin Gillespie, their point guard, scoring in the low post. They're all very adept at doing that.
A look at the starting lineups, and it's the regular 5 for Villanova. As for Butler, Aaron Thompson and Christian David are both out today because of injury. Bo Hodges is available. He's missed the last 2 games with a calf injury, but Hodges will not start. As you see, Jay Wright, Jerry Palm has them as a number 2 seed right now in the NCAA tournament, going against Laval, Jordan, and Butler. They met back in December, mid-December, before Christmas at Villanova, and the Wildcats won 85-66. And we are underway with our officials today, Michael Stevens, John Gaffney, and Lamar Simpson.
Well, both these teams play very similar defensively. They try to pack it in and keep you from getting dribble penetration or throwing it into the post. Both will use a little bit of zone at times. Butler used it very effectively against Seton Hall the other day.
Butler defeating Seton Hall on Wednesday. Villanova, meanwhile, taking out St. John's on Tuesday at Finneran Pavilion. Wildcats have won 2 straight and 4 of their last 5.
This is where Villanova has started to show some improvement. Their defensive field goal percentage was above 300, as was their defensive field goal percentage from 3. Now it's climbed back into the upper 200s. Much better the last 2 games.
Miles Tate getting the start today with Aaron Thompson out. And a turnover by Butler. They only average 11.7 per game. Meanwhile, Villanova, second in the country, only turning it over 9.3 times per night.
And they were first just about the whole year. Just coming into this game, moved into second. So they don't turn the ball over ever.
Yeah, the only time they turn it over is when they play St. John's.
Yes.
2 games this year against St. John's, they turned it over an average of 16 times per game. A great feed, Colin Gillespie to Justin Moore.
Now there's an example. Butler expected Gillespie to try to back his man down into the post, as we talked about in the open. Instead, a great cut, and they get a layup out of it.
Gillespie, 3rd in the Big East, averaging just under 5 assists per game.
This is where Butler has really struggled. Villanova is the number 3 half-court offensive team in the country. Butler really struggles to score.
Bryce Inzie coming off a double-double, gets his own miss, and will send it back out. Now Bolden for 3. Yes, Jair Bolden.
That's a great sign for Butler, because they struggle to score, average only 63 points a game. He is huge because he is their best 3-point shooter. They need to get him going at 16 in the second half against Seton Hall the other day.
And it was nice to hear some fans respond after the 3. Butler's had fans this year on a limited capacity, about 2,000 expected to be in attendance today. Just the 3rd time this year that Villanova has played in front of fans. The other 2 times were at Texas and at Creighton.
There, Colin Gillespie catches Inzi off guard. Lucky to get it back.
Inzi defended by Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. Inzi around Earl for two.
A big key for Butler also is their ability to score in the paint. They have two guys that can make threes that on a consistent basis, Bolden and Harris, but they need Inzi to score in the paint just like that.
Robinson-Earl for three. And the rebound is grabbed by Bolden. That Butler win against Seton Hall on Wednesday ended a three-game losing streak as Bolden hits the front of the rim.
Both these teams, tempo over 300. Very slow playing teams for the most part.
Robinson-Earl is size advantage over Bolden, and he lays it in.
Well, he's one guy that you would expect to be good in the post because he is 6'9". But that was a terrific post move, taking advantage of the switch.
Here's Tate in the corner. And there's Gillespie for the rebound. Villanova in the Big East, 7-0 at home this year, 3-2 on the road, losing to Creighton and St. John's. Bolden sets the screen. Now it's the freshman Chuck Harris. As Steve pointed out, neither of these teams are really ever in a hurry. As Tate comes up short on the shot. And here comes Gillespie the other way for Villanova.
Villanova's half-court defense much better at keeping people in front lane. That was a really good pass.
And Robinson-Earl with another bucket. Earlier this week, he was named one of 5 finalists for the Karl Malone Award, which is given out to the top power forward in the country. All 6 of Villanova's points have come in the paint. And the turnover by the Bulldogs takes us to a timeout. Villanova looking to go to 11-2 in Big East play. Game 1 of our triple header on CBS.
Dinner with it.
CBS Sports college basketball coverage is sponsored by Jersey Mike's Subs. Be a sub above. Allstate, you've never been in better hands. And by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA. Back at Hinkle Fieldhouse, which was constructed in 1928, and this year will be one of the tournament sites for the NCAA tournament, just 2 weeks away from Selection Sunday. The only other time that Hinkle was a part of the NCAA tournament as a site were the regionals back in 1940. So we are excited to get out there in a couple of weeks. And Butler is hoping to build some momentum going into the Big East tournament. And you know Villanova will be in the tournament right now, number 8 in the net. Jerry Palm has them as a number 2 seed.
Yeah, but right now, like I said, this team is still alive to be a 1. If Ohio State or Baylor were to slip up again and they run the table, that's the second time that Butler miscommunicated on that switch there, on that screen. You can't do that.
Jermaine Samuels has been playing so well for Villanova, averaging 17 points per game over his last 5. But he misses his first shot attempt today.
Trying to get the ball into Inzi as much as they can is a good thing for Butler to do.
Inzi already has 5 rebounds in this game as that 3 won't go, and Samuels crashes the glass.
Well, Inzi has been playing really, really well lately. He's 4th in the Big East in rebounding a game with 8 rebounds a game as it is. And here's Gillespie trying to get into the post area.
Backing down the freshman Harris, and Gillespie lays it in.
And that's exactly what you can't do. You can't go for the shot fake. You have to make him go over you, not allow him to go through you. That time he blew the shot fake, Man jumps by him, he's able to lay it in the basket. Make him shoot over you. Don't go for the fakes.
Bolden for three. Steve, how much, especially on the defensive end, does Butler missing Aaron Thompson today?
Well, they miss him on both ends. He's one of the leading assist guys in the league, too, but he is a solid defender. And when you play against a perimeter like Villanova, the more good defenders you can have for those perimeter guys, the better off you are.
Colin Gillespie is, Lavelle Jordan told us he's one of the best post-up guards in the country.
Well, I mean, look, there he takes Adama Sanogo, who's a 6'10 guy from UConn, to the basket, and he's 6'2". So this is something that all the Villanova players are well schooled at. And the thing is, when you make 10 threes a game and you shoot them at almost 38%, you're going to have a lot of space. And they use that space to score in the post. They make 53% of their two-point shots, which is in the top 60 in the country. That's a big part of their offense also.
Harris gets it to go. It had been 6 consecutive empty trips for Butler before that bucket.
That was a good move by Chuck Harris. He's played very well this year. He is their best percentage three-point shooter, too. This freshman having a good, solid season.
Brandon Slater has entered for Villanova. He's been emerging for the Wildcats in February as Daniels misfires from deep.
And one thing that Butler does a great job of, because they stay in good defensive position, they're always in position to rebound. Their defensive rebounding is very good. They've owned the glass on that end so far. And another basket there by Harris.
38% from deep, and Butler pulls ahead by 2. Harris is second in the Big East in scoring among freshmen. The only player above him is Dawson Garcia of Marquette. 5 early points for the freshman out of Washington, D.C.
And you see Butler switching all these screens. But, you know, Bryce Inzi switches to Colin Gillespie. He's 6'8". He needs to get up higher on him. He let him make that three too easily.
First 3 of the day for Villanova. They had missed their first 4 from deep.
Brandon Slater has really given them a big bump defensively. That's a good move by Inzi there.
Another rebound for Inzi and sends it back out. Inzi already has 6 boards. And Robinson Earl says enough of this. Gillespie going right at Harris. Gets his man in the air and lays it in again. 7 early points for Colin Gillespie.
Same exact move. Stay on your feet and let him go over you. Again, Colin Gillespie. Shot fake, gets his man up. He's able to lay it in the basket.
Villanova with an early advantage. Points in the paint, 10-4. Harris, another 3. Yes. Second triple for Chuck Harris.
Good patience that time by Butler. A couple of good ball reversals. And Harris making his second 3.
Last 2 games for Harris, he was 2 of 11 from deep. And already today, he's got 2 threes. Cole Swider. Trying to get in the paint. Nice move, and he draws the foul committed by Miles Tate. Colin Gillespie with 7 early points for Villanova.
Well, this kid gets it going easily. He's in the post. He also can knock these out at a high rate, as we know. But throw him down here, let him use his little shot fakes, and lay it in the basket. Tie game.
New Thursday, Agent Clarice Starling is famous for investigating dark minds, but now she's back and stepping into the light. A new Clarice, Thursday at 10/9 Central, or stream anytime on CBS. Back at Hinkle, tied at 13. What a wild day it was yesterday, Steve. Which of these four results stands out the most to you?
Well, I think North Carolina coming off losing to Marquette at home by 15 the other day, then beating a great Florida State team. And I'm not so surprised about Baylor. They had a long pause. They come back. They're playing a Kansas team that's playing really well. That's got to make a huge difference. And how about Carlik Jones of Louisville, the transfer from Radford, probably the ACC Player of the Year. That was a tough loss for Duke. They needed that one.
And one result not up there, but of interest to Big East fans, is that Xavier defeated Creighton. That's a huge win for the Musketeers and puts Villanova in a position to move even closer to another Big East title. They cannot clinch today, but they do host Creighton on Wednesday in what will be senior day for Villanova. And Jay Wright told us that all of the Villanova seniors on track to graduate, so they will treat it as senior day. But it's so strange this year to think about senior day because any senior can come back next year.
Well, there's no doubt about it. So you don't know who's coming back. And, you know, Creighton put a hurting on Villanova at Creighton a couple of weeks ago. So there's going to be a lot of payback involved in that particular game.
Today is also Butler's senior day, but Bo Hodges will not participate in the ceremony after the game. He is declared that he will come back next year.
Yeah, he's a kid who would not have played this year, but since he's getting this year as a freebie, he decided to play the second half of the year and then come back next year.
And Hodges is on the floor right now, number 1 in white, as Harris with another 3. Not this time. Hodges with the offensive rebound, and he's fouled. That's what he does. Instant energy. Has not played the last 2 games because of a calf injury, but able to come off the bench today.
Yeah, I really like Bo Hodges a lot. This is a kid who almost had a triple-double in the first game that he played against Marquette this year. He does everything. He averages over 7 rebounds a game, and he's been a much better three-point shooter this year for Butler than he was at East Tennessee State.
Foul is on Jermaine Samuels. We've already had 4 lead changes in the first 10 minutes of the game.
The key for Butler is to continue to reverse the ball and make Villanova's defense move around. That will allow them to get some better opportunities.
Offensive rebound, Golden right back up, and no good again, and tipped out. And here's Brian Antoine, who's entered his 4th game of the year.
One of the biggest keys, that time Bolden stayed down on Robinson Earl's shot fake, and it helped him stay in front of him on that shot.
In for the Wildcats, 24, Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
Swider comes out, Robinson Earl returns. As we look at the Big East standings, there's Villanova at 10-2. Creighton with the loss yesterday to Xavier falls to 13-5. The time is winding down. Selection Sunday, 2 weeks from today.
And now Villanova playing a little bit of zone, which they only do probably about 4 or 5% of the time. What this does is it kind of protects the paint for you a little bit better, where Butler has been pretty good so far getting into it.
Butler's out-rebounding Villanova by 5 early on. Golden, no, and there's a rebound by Robinson Earl.
I mean, you can't get a better opportunity than that. And as a big guy, the one thing you want to know is they're not going to double me. I should be able to take my man. He has to finish that one.
Daniels' tough pass broken up in a turnover by Villanova. And they got 5 on 4 the other way. Bolden over to Wilmoth. And Wilmoth only 4 threes on the year.
Yeah, I don't think that was a real good shot for Wilmoth to take there.
Here's more deep threes. Samuels tips it right to Golden. Justin Moore has been struggling of late. Last 2 games, 1 of 8 from deep for Villanova. And he has committed 7 turnovers in the last 2.
Yeah, and he's probably been their 3rd best player all year behind Robinson Earl and Gillespie, but his three-point shooting way down to 32% now.
And Steve, you have to wonder this time of the year about the minutes some of these Villanova players have played, but then you think about the way Jay Wright always treats his starting 5, and they always play a lot of minutes.
Jay's been playing 7.5 guys all these years and won 2 titles in the meantime, so he does not play a lot of bench guys anyway, and because because they play so slow, I think that is able to save their legs some. So they're not playing at a frenetic pace. They're not pressing people full court. These kids can play the big minutes, I think.
Gillespie, Moore, and Robinson Earl all in the top 10 in minutes played in the Big East, and that's where, as you see the graphic there, it falls off. The bench has not been able to get out there as much. But they're starting to emerge of late as Wilmoth misses another 3.
I will say one thing. If they can get Brian Antoine Wright, who was a McDonald's All-American in high school, that will be a big addition because they could use another guard in their rotation.
Jay Wright telling us
Shot
that
fake.
Antoine has earned more playing time. Moore misses again.
I'll tell you, if I'm coaching against Villanova, the first thing I'm saying in the scouting report is if you go for a shot fake, you're sitting. If they make a 3 with your hand in their face, they make it. Don't leave your feet.
So Chuck Harris is now 4 for 6, and the rest of Butler's team is 2 for 14. Harris has been carrying the Bulldogs early on.
Yeah, this freshman is really starting to come in. I know they've talked about this being the best recruiting class in the history of Butler, so he's a big part of it.
Butler freshmen have scored 35% of their points this year. That leads the Big East. Gillespie, nice find, but the finish is not there for Antoine. Harris has scored the last 10 points for Butler. He's got it again. He's feeling it. But that one rolls around and out. Villanova scoreless in the last 4 minutes as we tick inside 7 to play in the first.
And that's why they have struggled at Butler in the last 4 years. That's a good move. You know, you got to make a decision, though. If you're going to let him back you down, you got to get a double on him because he's too skilled with both hands around the basket.
6 points and 5 rebounds early for Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
But I was saying that Butler gives Villanova trouble because they play that tough, packed-in man-to-man defense. Another great shot.
Harris.
And, you know, Villanova's been one of the worst teams in the Big East at defending the three-point shot. And Harris is only 6'2". They got to get out there more aggressive on him right now because he's on fire.
13 points for Chuck Harris. His career high is 22. Robinson Earl can't get that one to drop. Harris drives and offensive foul.
Now that was a freshman play. He got a little too excited in transition. Thought he could get something easy going to the basket. Couldn't do it. But Butler playing tough right now. Up 1 on Villanova.
The next greatest generation is now, presented by Army National Guard, as we focus on Butler's Bryce Inzie, majoring in sports media with a 3.3 GPA. He's worked at the Laurelwood Camp YMCA in the central Indiana area, helping out with kids. Bryce Inzie off to a nice start today. He already has 7 rebounds here in the first half. 4 double-doubles on the year for Inzie, including Wednesday's victory over Seton Hall.
And the thing about him, Andrew, he's played really, really well at home. He averages over 14 points a game at home, which is why their home record is so good.
In the last 12 minutes, Chuck Harris is the only Butler Bulldog to score. He has all 13 points as LaVell Jordan's team leads by 1.
Well, Chuck Harris did have 22 in a game this year against DePaul earlier, so this kid is very, very capable.
Butler has gone 6-3 at home in the Big East, including wins over Creighton and St. John's, but just 1-8 on the road in league play.
This packed-in defense definitely make him take. That's a contested jump shot. That's the kind of shot you want to give Villanova. If they make it, they make it. That situation, you're in good rebounding position. They don't get a second shot. That is good, solid Butler defense.
0 offensive rebounds for Villanova so far. 10 on 10. Swider on Inzi. Inzi wins that one.
You know, I think that Butler is a good team to double in the low post because you don't have a ton of three-point shooters outside who can make those. So I think they're going to have to go after Inzi a little bit in that situation.
Jay Wright told us as Gillespie launches again from deep and he's fouled. So Gillespie will shoot three. But Jay Wright told us that Butler is so similar to Villanova, and that's why he thinks the Bulldogs have given them problems over the years.
Yeah, that's been one of the biggest, toughest teams for them to play against. Now that's just bad defense there. You got to close out under control and not foul in that situation. But it's that packed-in defense. And Jay also told us that he feels like they pay a lot of close attention to personnel, and they're able to take away what his guys like to do. That's what the Butler coaching staff is well-schooled in doing.
CBS Sports app is your destination for the biggest events, highlights, and breaking news. Download the app today and watch everything from CBS Sports in one place. Gillespie 83% from the line this year, which is third in the Big East, but in his last 2 games, he went just 4 for 9 from the line. Makes them all here, and we're tied at 20 with 4:50 to go.
And both these teams like this kind of a pace. And that's the other reason why Butler gives Villanova trouble. They're happy to play this slow, half-court type game so that they're comfortable like that.
Chuck Harris is comfortable. He's got 15 in the first half. Freshman from Washington, D.C., attended Gonzaga College High School, won 2 Washington Catholic Athletic Conference titles, and has made an immediate impact here for Laval Jordan. Samuels has been quiet so far, and his shot is blocked. Inzi running the break.
And Inzi's a very good ball handler, even though he throws a bad pass there. Let's take a look at this last Chuck Harris basket here. Take a look at Brandon Slater right here. He doesn't really do a good job of getting close enough to be able to help on the screen by Bryce Inzi. Now Colin Gillespie gets half court on the screen. Nobody's there to help or hedge. He's able to make that basket.
Gillespie's 2 won't go. Robinson Earl with the first offensive rebound for Villanova. Great help. His pocket picked. Tate with the steal. 2-on-1. Tate for 2. Largest lead for Butler. And the limited fans love it at Hinkle. Miles Tate, the steal and the bucket, and Butler with a lot of energy early against Nova. We're back with a look at our game summary. Butler leads by 4. Villanova shooting just 1 of 7 from deep, and they do not have an answer for Chuck Harris. He has 15 points for the Bulldogs.
Boy, this freshman has been terrific in this game, making threes, little pull-ups. Got to get to him a little bit better now. I mean, that's really not good defense by Brandon Slater that time. And that's Gillespie way off of him. So obviously he's a freshman. He can be a little streaky. But right now the streak is good. And when the streak is good, you need to do a little extra to stop him.
Now, the reason there was a stoppage is not because of a timeout, but because there was condensation on the floor. Here's why. Remember the old slip and slide back in the day in the backyard? You get the hose out, you slide. Watch Jermaine Samuels. He is just free-falling into the paint.
By the way, I didn't have a backyard in Washington Heights. Just wanted you to, to know that.
Fair enough. You do have one now.
I do have one now. No kids at home, but I have a slip and slide.
That looked like that was a fun ride for Jermaine Samuels, but that's why there was a stoppage, no timeout. With 3:30 to go and Butler leading by 4. Bulldogs started 5 of 19. Since then, they're 5 of 6. And flip it for Villanova. They began 6 for 13, and since then, 1 for 9.
Wow, they could have called a charge or they could have called a flop. Either one. Had to be something, one or the other.
Justin Moore is now 1 for 5. His struggles continue.
See, this is a hard team, Butler, because of their style of defense. That one-on-one that Villanova is so good at most of the time, not really working in this game. Got to get that ball moving a little faster.
Golden trying to follow the Harris miss. Swider stepped out. Coming up on AT&T at the half, Greg, Clark, and Seth will take a look at the upcoming Big Ten doubleheader, Michigan State at Maryland, and then the big showdown between number 9 Iowa and 4th-ranked Ohio State. All coming up on AT&T at the half.
How about Michigan State coming back from the dead? I had them out last week. Now they come back with these 2 big wins, right back in it.
Hard to count out is Hodges. 3.
You know, this team has struggled to score the ball all season, but they are solid defensively, and if they're making shots, they are very tough.
12-3 run for Butler with 2.5 to go.
Look how packed in this defense is. You can't get in the lane to do those post-ups that we talked about in the open.
Samuels with an air ball. Villanova is now 1 of 8 from deep.
And they average 10 made threes a game.
Inzi overpowers Gillespie. Timeout, Villanova. Back at Hinkle, and tonight on CBS, critics are saying it's the return of the female action star. Queen Latifah is the equalizer. Watch a new episode tonight at 8/7 Central or stream anytime on CBS. Well, another Butler good start against Villanova at home. The Bulldogs have won 3 of their last 4 at Hinkle against Jay Wright and the Wildcats.
You know, it's hard to emphasize enough, Andrew, just how good this half-court defense of Butler has been so far. They are playing against one of the premier offensive teams in the country at playing half-court basketball, and right now they have them completely locked up. They're 7 for 24 from the field, Villanova. Not able to get those post-ups, not able to get the threes that they like. Great job by Butler, half-court man-to-man defense.
And Steve Butler is killing Villanova on the glass. Plus 10 early on for the Bulldogs.
When you play this kind of defense, you're in great position to defensive rebound.
Villanova has just 1 field goal in the last 10 minutes.
There'll be a lot of people watching this tape defensively.
Oh, what a feed! Tate to Inzi.
Tate did such a great job of not allowing Hodges to get stuck in the corner. You saw him move to the ball there, and that was the key, coming to meet the pass.
Minute to go in the first half. Robinson Earl, and he is fouled by Hodges.
Take a look at Miles Tate right here, what he does when Bo Hodges gets stuck in the corner. You're going to see Tate here come and help on Hodges when Hodges looks like he's going to get stuck in the deep corner, and instead of standing still, he comes to meet the pass, and that's what led to that basket.
Timeout on the floor. Butler up 11 on CBS.
DSC.
Butler calls timeout. It gives us a chance to tell you to get ready for live sports, breaking news, and a mountain of entertainment. Paramount Plus starts streaming March 4th. Well, these 2 teams, we told you, met back December 16th, but for Butler, that was just their 2nd game of the season. They were coming off a 21-day pause because of COVID. And as LaVall Jordan told us, he said his freshmen got baptized in that game. 21 days off, then you go to Villanova, they lost 85-66. But Jordan told us that after that game, he sat his team down and said, look, we're going to play Villanova again in late February. Let's see how far we can grow between now and February, especially our freshmen. And Steve, when you look at the freshmen today, Harris and Tate, they have grown up in a big way.
What could be worse than having two freshmen coming off a 21-day pause, three freshmen at the time, coming off a 21-day pause and having to play at Villanova? Can't be any worse than that. And that was a tougher game than the score indicated. There's another throw.
By the freshman, Miles Tate. They are rolling Harris and Tate here in the first half.
Well, the freshmen, as you said, Andrew, have scored 35% of Butler's points this year. Going to be a lot more than that today.
Harris and Tate have combined for 20 of Butler's 34. 9-second difference between the game clock and shot clock.
Let's see if they stay on the ground. No, they've done that a couple of times, looking for Gillespie to take his man down to the basket. Instead, they get a nice cut, and they're able to get a layup.
Harris was feeling it late, and there Bolden picks it off, and that's how the first half ends. But what a first half it was for Chuck Harris. 15 points to lead Butler. Bulldogs up 10 at intermission. That's the end of the first half, with Butler leading 34-24. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York. CBS Sports college basketball coverage is sponsored by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance. Lowe's. And by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. That must be the victory bone. That's bigger than Butler Blue, and a lot to like so far if you're a Bulldog fan, as we take a look at the Dollar Shave Club first half stats. Villanova 1 of 9 from deep. Harris has been the difference maker, 15 points so far for Butler. And hi again, everyone, with former Villanova coach Steve Lapis. I'm Andrew Catalan. You tip your cap to Butler in that first half. They played well, but what does Villanova have to do different in the second half?
Well, they have to do one of two things. They have to, in the half court, reverse the ball more, because this team is packed in. You got to move that defense around a little more in the half court and get out in transition. Get some of those transition threes that they like to get every so often. Move the tempo of this game up a little bit. Even though normally Villanova likes to play slow, I think they need to speed this one up a little bit.
It's only the 5th time this season Villanova has trailed at the half. They are 2-2 when trailing at halftime this year.
That was as good a half-court defensive half as you're going to see, to hold a tremendous offensive team to 31% shooting. That says a lot about LaVall Jordan and what he's doing with this young team that played great defense against Seton Hall the other night also.
Yeah, and he said that his team, he's felt like they've been improving the last 6 weeks of the season, but the results haven't been coming. The results came against Seton Hall on Wednesday, and he thought that would really help his Bulldogs team today, and so far he's been right. As Golden counted and won.
You're going to see Butler here really do a great job with the pick and roll. Villanova, no hedge. They're a little late helping the helper, and Bryce Golden able to make that layup.
First foul on Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, and only the second foul on Villanova today. They had won the entire first half. Golden cannot complete the three-point play.
You know, one of the problems, if you're not worried about guarding Bryce Golden on the perimeter, I understand that. But when he sets a screen, you got to get out there because somebody has to edge that ball handler.
Daniels, his first bucket of the day. He was 0 for 3 until that field goal.
And there's one of those Villanova post moves by their guards inside.
Great find, and Golden is there again.
You know, Villanova's been trying to switch these. That was a late switch by Caleb Daniels. A good read by Bryce Golden to dive quickly to the basket. They are getting cut up with that pick and roll, Villanova.
Golden did not score in the first half. He's got 4 here in the second half as Gillespie misfires from deep. Harris, not this time.
Not crazy about that shot.
Justin Moore through the lane for 2.
That time he saw Bryce Golden was guarding him. Justin Moore knows that. He's much quicker, takes him to the basket.
Early in the first half, Villanova had success inside in the paint, and so far here in the second half, they're trying to reestablish themselves on the interior as a sloppy turnover by Butler.
But you know, Andrew, I'm going to say that if I'm Laval Jordan, I'm saying I'd rather see Villanova 2-by-2 me than 3-by-3 me.
Absolutely. Now, I get that. Villanova leads the Big East in three-point shooting percentage. But they have been way off today, just 1 for 10. If they heat up from the outside, they are, as we know, a different team.
And not getting the looks that they normally get. So that's where Butler's defense has really done a good job. Now here's another switch.
Samuels, no call, and a turnover by Villanova.
And Jermaine Samuels had to go. They fell asleep that time.
Too easy for Butler. And now we have a stoppage. No foul was called. We're waiting to see what the whistle was about.
You know, Jermaine Samuels, the first thing you have to do is protect the basket. So he was the last guy back, and he didn't see that somebody was sneaking in behind him to get there and protect the basket in transition. Basket
counts, and then just heard the PA announcer say a flop warning on Butler. But the basket is good, a 12-point game.
I thought they've had a couple in this game, Andrew, to be honest with you.
Gillespie missed it, gets it back. And a steal. Here's Harris with Samuels trying to get back, and a foul called on Jermaine Samuels.
Foul on the Wildcats, 23. Jermaine Samuels, his second, team second.
Quick hands, Chuck Harris. Good tough foul by Jermaine Samuels.
At the line for your Bulldogs.
Second foul on Samuels. It will send Harris to the line. And it's been an adventure at the free throw line for Butler this year. They are one of the worst teams in the country shooting free throws. 64% on the year. That's number 318 across the country. But Wednesday night, of course, they went 15 for 16. So explain that, Steve.
I cannot explain it. We had some bad foul shooters when I was coaching at Villanova, and alumni would say, what's wrong with the I said, foul shooting is a hard thing to fix.
First free throws today for Butler. Robinson Earl trying to get position, draws the double team out to a wide open Samuels. And he doesn't get the bounce, but the tip is there for Robinson Earl.
Well, offensive rebounds have been really hard to come by. Only the second one for Villanova in this game.
Villanova basketball.
And Butler gives it right back. A couple of sloppy turnovers by Laval Jordan's team early in the second half. Robinson Earl, and he
changed pivot feet. Travel.
Each team with 6 turnovers today.
Right foot was his pivot foot there. Now he switches it up.
Bolden trying to go over Gillespie. Not a good shot, and out of bounds to Villanova.
Terrible shot. Jared Bolden is a catch-and-shoot guy. Not really great off the dribble. He tries to go one-on-one there. Right now, Butler's got to settle down because of who they're playing. They can't get into a bad rut here where they start taking bad shots and turning the ball over.
And Villanova, an excellent second-half team this year. They have the most points after halftime in the Big East, and as a team, they shoot 50% in the second half, which is top 5 in the country. Justin Moore again able to get through the lane for 2.
And now you have Robinson Earl again active on the offensive glass. That's what led to that basket. Butler's got to get back to boxing him out. He's hurting them on the glass last 2 possessions.
Last 3 trips for Villanova, they have 4 second chance points. Again, Butler without Aaron Thompson and Christian David today, both sidelined with injuries. Tate launches.
Not a great possession either. Transition 3.
And Swider delivers. Dangerous three-point shooter, and Villanova's got some momentum here early in the second half. A 7-0 run, and Butler calls timeout.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is...
We're back with a look at our fast analysis presented by AT&T 5G.
Well, Butler's done a great job passing the ball. They have 9 assists in this game so far. They have found guys under the basket, looking up, not turning the ball over, doing a terrific job getting that ball moving.
With our producer, Jonathan Siegel, director Andy Goldberg, Steve Lapis, our entire crew, I'm Andrew Catalan. We thank you for joining us for Game 1 of our triple header today on CBS, the final day of February. March is coming. Selection Sunday is 2 weeks from today. What would a loss today mean for Villanova over the next 2 weeks, Steve?
You know, that's interesting. You know, they're the team that usually comes back strong from that, but they could drop from that 2 line. That's still possible. Probably unlikely, but they have to be careful because this would not be a good loss.
Right now, a 7-0 run for Villanova. They have 5 field goals this half by 4 different players.
And right now, Butler needs to play some half-court offense because they need a basket.
Shot clock at 5. Harris's pass is intercepted by Robinson Earl, but he throws it right back to Tate. Now a scramble out of bounds to Butler.
But you can see Butler now struggling in the half court. They've got to get it back going again. Villanova really starting to exert themselves again on the defensive end of the floor, but still down 7 to the Bulldogs.
4 continues here on CBS, and according to our Jerry Palm, you're going to see a lot of Big Ten in the NCAA tournament.
And you might have seen more had Minnesota won the other day, but they lost in Nebraska, so they're probably out right now. Michigan State, how about their last 2 wins? They beat Illinois and they beat Ohio State. Maryland also on a roll, winning 4 in a row.
Back at Hinkle Fieldhouse, where Villanova is on a 7-0 run. They've cut the deficit down to 7 against Butler.
And really, Butler has to start getting something going in that half-court offense. Maybe get Inzi in the lane a little bit, get something a little bit easier than they've gotten their last few possessions.
Bo Hodges is on the floor. His minutes were limited in the first half because of the calf injury. Here's Hodges with the shot clock at 5. Hodges already 1-3 in the first half, and that one won't go. Moore had it, lost it. Inzi to the ground, out of bounds. And it's Butler basketball. Good hustle by Bryce Inzi.
That's great hustle, but that's like 4 bad possessions in a row for Butler in the half court where the shot clock was winding down and they really couldn't get anything good. I like the way they've used the pick and roll a lot in this game.
And now we have a stoppage with 14:46 to go, and the officials are at the monitor. Our crew today, Michael Stevens, John Gaffney, and Lamar Simpson. Maybe looking to see if there was an elbow on the ground for that during that loose ball scramble.
Inzi's by himself with 3 Villanova guys.
Gene Steratore is with us. What do you see, Gene?
I think what they're looking at here, guys, is to see if there was a defensive possession after the missed shot. If there was not, then the shot clock will go to 20 because we're staying in the front court. And I think that's what they were deciding on, is if there was a possession or not. There was not, so they've reset the shot clock correctly to 20 seconds.
Good call, Gene.
Great call, Gene. He made some good calls in my games, too. I didn't agree with a lot of them, but he made a lot of good calls.
And now you agree with Gene.
Yes.
Let's reverse 20 years. Hodges spinning in the lane, and he's fouled. Now, Bo Hodges, not 100%, but when he's out there, you can see the energy he brings.
He's just such a versatile guy. He's strong, he's tough, he's a very experienced player. That time the lane was open, they got a good cut, and were able to get to the free throw line.
See Butler 15 of 16 on Wednesday from the line. Today 2 out of 3 in what's been a rough year at the free throw line, and Hodges misses. Initially ruled academically ineligible, his appeal was approved on January 30th. This is just his 7th game of this season, but he said he will return next year. And a foul on Butler.
Hand checking on
Fouls
Chuck
on the
Harris.
Bulldogs 3. Chuck Harris is second, first on the team.
And Butler, as you pointed out, Steve, they've gone cold here. No points in the last 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
And I don't like the quality of the shots they've been getting either.
Moore's had a good rhythm in the second half, and it continues. He's in double figures with 10, and the lead is down to 5. 6 of Moore's 10 have come after halftime. Inzie, and a foul is called on Brandon Slater.
Is on the Wildcats 3. Brandon Slater is first.
First foul against Slater with 13:57 to go. Good start to this half for the Wildcats after a rough shooting first half. Bolden from way downtown. It's good. Hit that one from St. Elmo's, and Butler with a much-needed bucket.
That's what he is, Andrew. He's a catch-and-shoot guy. That time he caught it, he fired. He made 6 threes in a game this year. He is a tremendous standstill three-point shooter.
Moore trying to answer. He cannot. Out of bounds. It'll stay with Villanova.
Let's take a look at Justin Moore. Take a look here at this pass. Jair Bolden catches it on the numbers, ready to shoot it, knocks it out.
He went over 1,000 points for his career against Seton Hall on Wednesday. Butler has 3 1,000-point scorers. First time they've had that in 63 years. And they are moving the ball well. 10 assists for the Bulldogs, just 5 for Villanova. Left hand is there. And that's the first bucket of the day for Jermaine Samuels.
They are really starting to get to the basket and score in the paint now. Butler has to get back to that packed-in help defense that they did in the first half to stop the penetrations in the lane.
Bolden finds a wide-open Golden. Villanova's defense much improved over the last 2 games against UConn and St. John's, but Butler has done a very good job attacking that D today. Golden trying to muscle his way past Swider, and he does.
No help again, no double on the post. And you know one thing about this Villanova team, under 5% block shots this year. Only 12 teams in the last 20 years in a Big 6 league have blocked less shots than this Villanova team. Their rim protection's been a struggle all year.
Samuels misses. He is 1 for 6 today. Tough pass, but Hodge was able to recover in the corner.
They should just keep attacking the paint. Pick and rolls, flashes into the lane.
Golden. Shot clock at 4. Golden puts up a shot and hits again. All 10 of his points have come in the second half.
And now all of a sudden, Butler is finding their way into the paint again. Villanova not doing the job on cutters or off the bounce.
We're in a break zone, and maybe that's why Jay Wright is holding off on calling a timeout.
I think he needs it personally.
It's a personal 6-0 run for Golden. Robinson Earl can't convert. And all the momentum that Villanova had built early in this half has been taken back by Butler.
And the pick and roll has been very effective for Butler this whole game. And here it comes again.
Hodges for three. It's good! Timeout, Villanova! CBS Sports college basketball coverage is sponsored by Sonic. This is how we Sonic. Army National Guard, the next greatest generation is now. And by Capital One, what's in your wallet? See pictures of the Big East coaches honoring the late John Thompson, and LaVall Jordan took it a step further a couple of weeks ago. An idea born out of Cal State Fullerton and head coach Dedrick Taylor. He sent this shirt to all 98 black head coaches in Division I. And on the front, a quote from John Thompson: "Don't let the sum total of your existence be 8 to 10 pounds of air." And, you know, LaVall Jordan, we had a great chat with him about this a couple of days ago. He said it's a reminder that what we're doing is bigger than the game of basketball. And as he pointed out, it's so humbling to think about how many black coaches there were when John Thompson was an active head coach to where they are now. And LaVall Jordan said there's more work to do, but he was very proud to wear that shirt at Georgetown a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. John Thompson, a trailblazer. John Chaney, to think that we lost both of those icons in basically the same year is unbelievable. And John Thompson was an inspiration to this next generation of African-American coaches. Tremendous.
A couple weeks ago, we did the Butler-Georgetown game. Jordan came out in that shirt, and he went over to Patrick Ewing, who was mad that his shirt hadn't arrived in the mail yet. Now Ewing has it, and he's proud to
He probably needed a little bigger one than most.
No, so they couldn't share that shirt. I agree. 54-39 as we approach the midway point of the second half. Butler has its largest lead of the day.
You know what we're really seeing here, Andrew? This has been a problem for Villanova. I said it kind of in passing. Their block percentage is one of the lowest in the last 20 years. They get no rim protection. So right now, Butler having their way in the paint. Now, they needed that offensive rebound. Robinson Earl's been terrific on the offensive glass second half.
He's got a double-double, Steve. 12 points and 10 rebounds for Robinson Earl. His fourth double-double of the year. And to your point, Villanova still without a block today.
Yeah, when you're an elite team, which they are, and you only average a little over one block a game, that's something lacking in your defense.
And a foul whistled against Bryce Golden.
Foul is on the Bulldogs.
First foul on Golden.
His first, team second. In for Villanova, 2, Colin Gillespie. In for your Bulldogs, number 5.
Big second half so far for Golden, the Winchester, Virginia native whose brother Grant plays at Richmond. Colin Gillespie brings the ball up the floor. Villanova trying to get going here in the second half. Just 2 for 17 from deep today. Daniels on the attack, knocked out of bounds by Wilmoth, but a foul is called.
You know, we've seen Villanova effectively drive the ball to the basket in the second half. And that's a foul. It's a good call. But we haven't seen them use those post moves that they're so effective. They tried a couple of times in this half, but Butler did a much better job not going up on shot fakes, and that has made a big difference.
What has 60 Minutes found out about the vaccine supply chain? Plus, inside the largest ballistic missile attack ever on American troops. Tonight on CBS. Caleb Daniels at the line, valedictorian at St. Augustine High School in Louisiana. Same high school as Avery Johnson, Leonard Fournette, and Kerry Kittles.
I went down there many times. Bernard Griffith was the great coach there for many, many years.
Transfer from Tulane, who's averaging 10 points per game. Villanova, one of just 11 teams in the country to have 5 players average double figures.
And Andrew, it doesn't show today, but one of only 4 teams in the country that has 6 guys to make more than 1 3 a game.
Not today, you're right, though. Only 2 threes for Villanova. Tough pass and a whistle inside, and a foul is called on Wilmoth.
And who's in the middle of that play defensively? Brandon Slater. He saw it from the weak side, was able to get into the help position there.
Fourth on the team.
Second foul committed by Wilmoth.
Now Butler going to the zone that prior to the Seton Hall game they had hardly used it a lot against Seton Hall. Was very, very effective.
And they put the 6'9" Wilmoth at the top of the zone. Samuels for 3. And there is Wilmoth for the rebound.
And one thing the zone does, and I give Laval Jordan credit, Villanova was driving it. This will stop you from driving the ball when you go zone. Good move.
Bolden step back, yes. 2-pointer there, 8 points on the day for Bolden.
That was a good move. Not normally a guy who goes off the dribble. And you're right, Andrew, having Wilmoth on top of this zone makes it so much more effective.
Daniels, Villanova cannot get it going from the outside, but we have a whistle underneath. And a foul against Bolden takes us to a timeout. Time is running out for Jay Wright and Villanova. They cannot get it going from the outside, and they trail by double digits on CBS.
We understand it.
We're back with the Capital One rewarding performance. Bryce Golden, all 10 points after halftime, Steve.
Yeah, he's been terrific, taking advantage of the little things around the basket, knowing who he is, and taking the shots that he can take and make. 5 for 8 from the field, doing a terrific job in the paint area.
A couple of guys that Villanova needs to get going. Number 1, Colin Gillespie, no points, no assists this half. And Jermaine Samuels, who's been such a big part of this team during the month of February, only 2 points today on 1 for 7 shooting. Laval Jordan said it to us. He said the way that Samuels is playing, he's an all-league player the way he's playing right now, and he changes the dynamic for Villanova. Hasn't been a factor today. And Gillespie now 0 for 4 this half shooting.
You know, 17.5 points a game his last 5 games, Jermaine Samuels, and getting nothing out of him today at all. That's good defense.
Daniels for 2.
I guess they give it a flop. And that's going to be a technical foul. Because that's the second one. I believe they called the flop. I don't know if this is a flop either, to be honest with you. I thought it was a charge. And that's going to be a one-shot Class B technical foul.
Yep. Wow.
I don't know about that one.
Only 1 shot, Villanova.
Gene Steratore with us again. How did you see it, Gene?
You know, I agree with Coach on that one. It felt to me like the defender was retreating obliquely, and the offense initiated that contact. It's not a lot of contact, and he may embellish it, but there is contact there. So I don't disagree that you could have gone with an offensive foul there as opposed to a flop.
In for your Bulldogs, number 1, Bo Hodges.
Well, put it this way, in my opinion, if they're not going to call the offensive foul, don't call the flop. Because now it really compounds it. That you might not have made a good call, and now they get a point out of it on top of it. That's a tough one.
I think that's the box you get put in too, Coach, because if you call an offensive foul, you say you saw contact.
Yes, you're right there, Gene. That is true.
Gene, thank you. So the free throw makes it a 10-point game. Villanova 10 for 10 from the line. Butler just 2 for 5. And Tate is fouled by Robinson Earl. So Butler has Miles Tate, freshman guard, who's 6 feet tall, and Miles Wilmoth, freshman forward, who's 6'9". LaVall Jordan says he calls him Little Miles, but Miles Tate doesn't like that. And anytime Jordan says that, he points, oh, you mean Wilmoth, right? He's Little Miles. I can't be called Little Miles. Both these freshmen have had great first seasons for LaVall Jordan at Butler. Golden finds Golden. And a foul.
Foul. It's on the Wildcats 23, Jermaine Samuels. That's his third.
Jermaine Samuels called for that foul, and that's his third.
Bulldogs will be Bryce Golden, and he'll have 2.
And you know it's crazy, but Butler's got to be careful because they get another flop. It's going to be another free throw.
And Butler continues to struggle from the free throw line. As you take a look at the Villanova tournament profile, number 8 in the net. Notable wins at Texas, UConn, but as you pointed out, a loss today would be an ugly one on their resume.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And they only have 2 quad 1 wins. So, I mean, you know, being a 2 seed right now is looking good, but that could go away. I'll tell you one thing, Andrew. I don't know if they're going to want to play at Hinkle in the NCAA tournament.
They do not have good memories here. They've lost 3 of their last 4 and in trouble here today inside 7 minutes to go.
Great job staying down on the shot fake. That's one thing Butler has done a terrific job in the second half, but they have given up some drives like that.
And finally, Samuels with something.
When Butler's got into trouble offensively, they've gone into the lane. Let's see if they do it again.
Harris has been quiet after his big first half. Hodges cuts, and he is fouled.
It's on the Wildcats 20.
Here they run the pick and roll again, and they've been effective using this pick and roll in different ways. This time it was just reversing the ball through the screener quickly to the weak side and getting a foul in the lane.
And a pivotal foul called on Samuels because that's his 4th. Now, he hasn't been much of a factor today with just 4 points, but we've talked about this. Villanova's bench is not deep. Samuels is a big part of this rotation, and now with 4 fouls, what do you do if you're Jay Wright?
Yeah, he's got to come out.
Yeah.
Swider's a good sub. They're bringing Brandon Slater in. So they had 2 good subs to come in the game. They decided to go with the defensive guy as opposed to the offensive guy in Swider. Free throw shooting. Hodges, 4 in a row.
Robinson Earl beats him down the floor.
Nothing could drive you more nuts as a coach than to have a missed free throw lead to a layup.
11-3 run for Villanova. Harris just 2 points this half after 15 in the first. High pass, Inzi corrals it.
No double on Inzi.
Hustles his way over Slater.
That's good offense by Butler. Villanova not going to double. Inzi much stronger than Brandon Slater. Slater's got to try and deny him that catch in the low post. Once he catches it and you're not doubling, you're in trouble.
Back-to-back double-doubles for Inzi. He's got 12 points and 10 rebounds today. 5 double-doubles on the year now for the senior out of Wisconsin. And a turnover by Villanova.
Boy, I give Bryce Golden a lot of credit there. He was able to stay basically in front of Gillespie. It just goes through Slater's legs. Now this 1-2-2 3-quarter court trap Villanova does use. I'd pick and roll all day.
Harris on the attack, blocked by Robinson Earl, and then a foul on the putback.
That is on Villanova's 14th. Caleb Daniels, his first.
This time Villanova anticipated the pick and roll. Chuck Harris goes the other way.
And he'll have 2.
And Bo Hodges shoots 2, but he's missed his last 4.
First block today for Villanova. And Hodges finally gets a free throw to drop. You know, Steve, the whole year we've talked about how home court doesn't mean as much this season, but I feel like there's a distinction that needs to be made when you have fans at your home court. You look at Butler, 6-3 at home this year in the Big East, and Val Jordan told us that psychologically it's just nice to get that applause after a bucket. It sounds so simple, but it means a lot.
We feel it. We haven't had
doubt.
the layout all year. We finally had the layout today instead of going into a break.
I know, it felt good. First time. February 28th, that's a new record. First layout of the year. Hodges step back 3 with the shot clock winding down, and we have a violation.
I just throw a little TV lingo in there,
inside,
for you.
Inside baseball there. But even Jay Wright said, even though this was just the 3rd time Villanova's played in front of fans, that it just feels more natural, even as the road team.
No doubt. Here's the post move.
Daniels, tough 2.
And you're right, that was a tough 2, Andrew. They didn't go for the shot fake. He had to go over a smaller guy, and he did.
Well, we approach 4 minutes to go, but with the way Butler has shot free throws not only today but all year, this game is far from over.
And they're playing against one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country.
Bolden from the wing for 2, and he's got 10 points.
He came off that screen ready to fire.
Robinson Earl off the glass, and the lead back down to 8.
He catches the ball at the elbow there, and he's such a good ball handler. He can get to where he wants to go for a big guy.
Jermaine Samuels back on the floor with 4 fouls.
The pick and roll with Inzi has been really effective.
There's Samuels with the 4, defending Inzi. For 3.
Yes!
Big shot for the freshman Harris.
And that really was not good defense on the three-point shot. No hand up, comes in late.
Robinson Earl trying to answer, and he does not get the bounce tip to Harris, and Villanova is now 2 for 21 from deep. Bolden for 3, it's good! We're back with a look at our game summary. Villanova averages just under 10 three-pointers per game. They only have 2 today, and they're in big trouble against Butler, Steve.
Well, a great set play, this time by Butler, was set up with this double screen. You're going to see Bo Hodges and Chuck Harris set the screen right here for Jair Bolden. Now, Colin Gillespie doesn't do a bad job of getting through, but he's just a tad late. And Jair Bolden catches this ball. He right-left catches it, puts it on the floor once. He's bigger than Colin Gillespie, makes a tough shot there. Good play. Gillespie didn't play it bad. Jair Bolden made a heck of a shot.
First half, Golden and Bolden combined for 3 points. This half, they've gone for 21. And with 2:38 to go, Villanova only has 1 timeout remaining. The Bulldogs with 2. Daniels, quick 2.
And that's been their best offense, driving the ball to the basket. Not shooting threes, not posting up, but driving it. And right now, your Butler, you want to use the clock. And then run that pick and roll at the end.
Shot clock down to 10. Hodges uses the screen over to Bolden. From the wing, tough shot, won't go. Hodges had it, lost it to Gillespie. Gillespie one-on-one right to the hoop, and a foul is called. With 1:52 to play. Wednesday night on CBS Sports Network, it's more Big East basketball as Providence takes on St. John's. Steve and I will be there for a 7 o'clock tip-off on CBS Sports Network. Chuck Harris just picked up his third foul.
Colin Gillespie did a very good job there, taking that ball to the basket. 2 shots, clock stopped. Now they're going to set up some kind of pressure.
Wow. Well, he missed 5 free throws in his last 2 games, but that's the first miss by anyone on Villanova today. And Gillespie still without a field goal in the second half.
You know, there's a lot to be said for the way he goes. That's how Villanova goes.
Well, we saw that at St. John's earlier in the month when Gillespie, as Jay Wright said, had one of the worst games of his career, and they were non-competitive in that game. Gillespie did have a nice bounce back against the Red Storm Tuesday night. And a quick foul. Which, Steve, I don't think is the worst thing if you're Villanova. Why not put Butler at the free throw line?
Absolutely. Now, I mean, they went for the steal that time. If you're going to foul at this stage of the game, 2 minutes to go, you want to foul trying to get the ball. You don't want to just grab somebody. That was a good foul because they went for the steal.
Daniels and Samuels return for the Wildcats. Butler is just 4 for 11 from the free throw line today. First attempts this afternoon for Bolden, who's a 71% shooter from the line. It's a 1-and-1. Another miss.
And he was one of the guys that they expect to make.
Gillespie quickly the other way, lays it in.
I'll tell you one thing about Villanova. They don't die easily. I can tell you that. That's not where you want to catch the ball.
Harris is the best free throw shooter Butler has. He gets rid of it to Bolden.
I think I was going to say they got a foul.
Yeah, why not?
That was on the Wildcats 14. Caleb Daniels, his second.
I've seen Jay drag out games like this. They're not down often. Let's understand that either in this situation. But he can drag out a game with the best of them.
Butler has missed 8 of its last 10 free throw attempts. And now Miles Tate is at the line. His first attempts today, 74% on the year.
Right now, Villanova's goal is to make this last 125 last forever. And this is not a good sign for Butler.
Number 318 in the country in free throw shooting percentage.
Villanova comes down and make a 3. All of a sudden,
one out of 2 for Miles Tate.
The big thing LaVall Jordan wants his team to do is not foul and rebound. Gang, rebound the ball.
One timeout left for Nova. Gillespie for 3. It's short, and the rebound to Chuck Harris.
Foul.
Harris up ahead. Inzi! And he is fouled, and that's the 5th on Jermaine Samuels. He's out.
I mean, Inzi's a 48% free throw shooter. I understand it's a 10-point game, but he's got to finish this.
Villanova in its last 3 road games outscored by 42 points. Jermaine Samuels has fouled out with just 4. He had been double figures in 5 straight entering today. Villanova's only losses this year to Virginia Tech in overtime on a neutral floor, at St. John's, and at Creighton.
Into the Wildcats, 3, Brandon Slater, 2 shots, Bryce Inzi.
First attempts today for Inzi.
Not much you can say if you're the coach.
I was just about to ask you, I mean,
Yeah.
other than making them shoot at 5 in the morning, what more can you do?
He's trying to make it. What are you going to say to the kid?
Unbelievable. Daniels 3-ball. Robinson Earl offensive rebound, put back, no, tip, yes. It was Slater who got his left hand on it.
Keep fouling.
Brandon Slater, the basket.
And Inzi calls timeout. Butler has 1 remaining, so does Villanova. Final minute on CBS.
How do we ensure family?
Look at our game reset. Each team with 1 timeout remaining. Possession arrow favors Villanova. With Steve Lapis, I'm Andrew Catalan. Game 1 of our triple header today on CBS. And I think we should order some lunch and order some dinner as well, because we're going to be here for a while. You got to think Jay Wright's going to keep fouling.
Trust me, I've seen it many times. He's really good at this. Butler is 5 for 16 from the free throw line.
And a turnover. Moore has it. Moore, extra pass. Daniels on the wing. Locates Moore for 3. No good, but Robinson Earl tracks down the loose ball.
The good thing for Butler is this is taking some time.
Daniels misses the 3, fighting for the rebound, and he commits the foul. And that's the only part of the keep fouling strategy that's not working for Villanova. They can't hit a 3-pointer.
Yeah, exactly.
They're 2 for 25.
At the line for your Bulldogs, number 3.
I'm going to guess they haven't shot this bad in years.
Back at the line where the numbers remain ugly for Butler. But Harris is the best they've got. He's not the one that was fouled. It's Bolden at the line. First 2 years at GW, then a year at South Carolina before transferring to Butler.
In for Villanova, 10, Cole Slider. In for your Bulldogs, number 1, Bo Hodges.
14 points for Bolden today.
Jay brings Swider in because he's better 3-point shooter.
Wow, Bolden makes a pair. 10-point game, 42 seconds left. Gillespie quickly to the hole, missed the 2.
They got a foul.
And there's the foul. With 33.7, the clock is stopped. And we haven't said this all year. Listen to the fans.
Yes.
It's actually nice to say it and hear it.
This Butler team at home, which happens a lot of times to young teams, they play much better at home than they do on the road. They played a heck of a game against St. John's, came back from 16 down. They beat a good Seton Hall team the other night. We had them at Georgetown. They played horrendous that day on the road.
Yeah, so I don't know. You tell me what's going to happen in the Big East tournament. Butler is the 9th place team in the league, but now it looks like they're going to have wins over the top 2, Creighton and Villanova. Harris tracks it down. It was out of bounds. No, Harris stepped out. So here you go, Steve, from our ace statistician, Ethan Cooperson. Villanova shooting 8% from three-point land. If it holds, it would be the worst game of the Jay Wright era.
Well, it isn't often that they shoot an interest rate, I mean, from the 3-point line.
Campbell Donovan, the walk-on from Fort Wayne, Indiana, comes on the floor. Fan favorite.
A high interest rate, nonetheless.
Yes, that's very hot. Final 25 seconds. Gillespie. Daniels the putback. No, the tip is not there either. All the way out. Swider goes to the ground, and it goes out of bounds to Butler.
What a great win for LaVall Jordan and these young Butler Bulldogs.
Villanova has missed 14 consecutive three-point attempts. And remember, Butler does this without their senior point guard, Aaron Thompson.
Arguably, certainly their best perimeter player. Even though I don't know, Chuck Harris starting to become something.
15 in the first half for Harris. 20 points for the game now for the freshman as Hodges gets it in. And Villanova is not going to foul here. What a win for Butler. It's the fourth time in the last 5 games that Butler has defeated Villanova at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Third Big East loss of the year for Villanova, and Butler goes to 8-11 in league play. For Steve Lapis and Gene Steratore, this is Andrew Catalan saying so long from Hinkle. Still to come on CBS, Michigan State, Maryland, then Iowa, Ohio State. We'll send you to Greg Gumbel for Inside College Basketball, presented by Progressive Insurance after this.